Meeting to order. This is the regular meeting of the Pollyant Trailway Management Council. Today is November 21st of 2018, and we're meeting at the Oxford Village offices, so thank you very much. Before I get deep in, well, okay, let's just go ahead. We'll follow the agenda. Pledge of allegiance and invocation. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, you guys ready? How about a prayer for Thanksgiving? Okay. Dear Lord, please be here with us during this meeting as we deliberate the business of the Pollyant Trail. Thank you for all the beauty of our Thanksgiving holiday with our friends and family and the crisp weather. Please watch over our communities, our families, our police, our country, and please give our country more peace. Thank you for our trail and our manager and Aaron's new baby, Mabel. And this we pray in your son's name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Don.
Do you have pictures, Aaron?
Just a few.
Okay, with the agenda, before we get into the actual agenda, I have to apologize. Once again, I had some typos, or the council members are not listed correctly. Aaron Watley was left off, and Eric Dolan from the village was also left off. So other than that, it's as accurate as I seem to be able to get it. So moving on then to the approval of the agenda. Are there any changes, additions? If none, a motion to approve the agenda would be in order.
Boy, that's a first. We never had any additions. I'll make that.
Oh, you did? We have an
I'll make that motion that we approve the agenda.
Second.
All right, just a second.
no.
All in favor of the motion to approve the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. Consent agenda, council should have found minutes in your packet, along with the treasurer's report, including the bills to be paid, and the financial report with the treasurer and bookkeeper's summary. Anything you want to add to that, Donnie?
No, I do, well, the only thing I had a question about the minutes was, something about the Ralph Wilson Foundation. I don't know if that was in the minutes, or if we had anything, to report on that from,
From last time?
yes.
I attended the Ralph C. Wilson announcement in Detroit. And basically their announcement was they were donating $100 million to Southeast Michigan, $100 million to Buffalo, New York. So basically $90 million would be for acquisitions and that sort of thing. $10 million of each, $100 million would be in maintenance. Separate fund, which would allow people to go apply for maintenance money. So instead of just acquiring things and building things, we'll be able to actually get money to maintain the things that we have.
Okay, so can I make a motion, Mike?
Sure.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the consent agenda with the approval of the minutes, adding the Ralph P. Wilson announcement per Linda Moran's attendance, and approve the bills in the amount of $7,393.51.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
How about the trail manager's written report, Donnie? Can we add that to it?
And to include the trail
Yeah.
manager written report.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Are there any questions on the motion? If none, could we have, and I apologize, I didn't take attendance. Could you call the roll first, and then we'll do a roll call vote?
Okay, Mike McDonald,
Here.
Curtis Wright,
Here?
Elgin Nichols here, Bruce Pearson,
Here?
Aaron Watley,
Here.
Donnie Steele,
Here.
Sue Bassardet, absent, Eric Sent,
Here?
Kevin, oh, we're all set.
Here. Okay.
Here.
Okay, could we have a roll call then on approving the consent agenda with the amendment regarding the Ralph Wilson Foundation? All in favor of the approving the consent agenda items as motioned by Ms. Steele and supported by Bruce Pearson. Roll call, please.
Mike McDonald,
Yes.
Curtis Wright,
Yes.
Elgin Nichols, yes. Bruce Pearson,
Yes.
Aaron Watley,
Yes.
Donnie Steele,
Yes.
Sue Bassardet, absent. Eric Sent.
Yes.
Very good, thank you. Public comment, is there any? Connie? No? Okay. Kevin, citizen representative report, anything going on?
Just two quick things, and I'm sure Linda will be reporting on it more, but I was able to assist her with putting up the trail signs. I just want to note how great they look. They really dress up the trail, and great project. And then, second of all, the ribbon cutting was a great ceremony. I got to see a couple riders out there that talked about how great the trail were and how excited they are about that connecting trail, so just wanted to report that.
Yeah, there's been a lot of buzz on social media about it too, which is really great. Okay, thank you. Trail manager's verbal report.
All right, I think what I'm gonna do is hit the highlights, because pretty much everything in my report is on the agenda, so we can kind of cover that as we go along. The big things, the gazebo. I'm working on the gazebo. I think I have found somebody who may help us out and get that gazebo over there. I'll let you know. I'm gonna keep pushing on that thing until it either falls down or gets pushed over there. Our Powell Street Park, our DTE tree grant, the trees were planted, everything's great. I will be submitting that reimbursement grant this month, so we will be getting some of that money back that we put out for the trees. We have 4 lovely trees. We have 2 apple trees and 2 sugar maple trees over on Powell Street. The map signs went great. Somehow the trail manager can't count to 15, so we got 14 up. We still have 1 missing at Boardman, which we'll get to. We were planning on getting it yesterday, and some things got in the way. So going forward, we'll get that up probably next week. Mile markers are in, they're delivered, they're sitting out at Parks and Rec, waiting to be put in. Max, our Eagle Scout candidate, kind of decided it was a little too cold to have the scouts go out there and put them in. So we're gonna kind of put that on hold for now, possibly in the spring get those out. The signs will be ordered and installed on the mile markers before the springtime, so as soon as the weather is ready to go, we'll be able to put those in. I've contacted Miss Digg, everything is fine, I don't see any encumbrances with putting them on our miles. We checked it 4 different ways. We had GPS, we had a wheel, we had a car, we had a bike, and they are matching up pretty close to what we had on our existing map, so I'm very confident they're in the correct locations. Max was able to raise more money than he thought. With donations, it looks like we're going to be out, the Pollyant Trailway Management Council is going to be out of pocket maybe $150, which is a lot less than we thought we were going to have to put out. Roland Road, we received a request from Consumers Energy to do a gas line underneath the trail in that area for 1244. Consumers is doing a survey. They're doing the paperwork on there, and once that paperwork is complete, it'll be submitted to the DNR, and that project will be underway. Storage facility, I'm still working on a site and a cost. I'm looking at maybe getting some private funding and some donations to maybe help us with that storage shed. So I'm working on it, so more to come. I'm trying to get it as cheap and as sufficient as we can. Our big thing is our 5-year plan, which is on our agenda. We'll touch on that later. The repairs to the asphalt in Oxford have been completed. Birmingham Seal Coat did a fabulous job. I'm really happy with it. Our Pure Michigan application was submitted. There were only 5 applications in the state of Michigan. And I talked to Kristen Bennett yesterday, and Chris said they haven't even opened the package yet. So sometime in December, we'll be hearing either yay or nay. The Leonard toilet is closed, it was pumped, and the Flying Rhinos have donated a porta potty at the Leonard parking lot. So we're going to have facilities open there year-round So thank you Rhinos for donating a porta potty. Everybody's happy. The fountains at Clarkson Road were closed and the meter pulled. Thank you, Orion. They helped me out. I opened that up and it was full of water and I had an attack. Obviously, that's common. Leonard, I've talked to Ray Van Tyne. That's all taken care of. And let's see. The Pollyant Trail and the Paint Creek Trail connector ribbon cutting was on Monday. It was fabulous. We had 55, 60 people out there. It was just really a nice turnout. I can't wait. I've talked to Melissa Ford, the new Paint Creek manager, and we're looking at possibly doing some sister trail events next year, connecting the two trails together. So doing some joint efforts out there, bike riding, hiking, something of that nature. I think we can really make good use of it. We had a landowner's request. Mr. and Mrs. Trotter have requested information on constructing a road across the Pollyant Trail in Addison Township, down by Hosner Road. I contacted Mike McDonald and Nikki Van Bloon at the Michigan Department of Natural Resources. Mr. Trotter owns property on the south side of the trail and the north side of the trail. He owns a large piece of property on the north side of the trail. It's landlocked. So he's looking at some options of possibly putting a subdivision on the north side of that trail. It backs up to a cul-de-sac on the north side, Valentine Court. So they're looking at some options. So they may put a request in sometime next year to possibly see about having a road put across. I did contact Nikki. They said that they would have to submit a form, a permit request, and they would have to do their due diligence. I talked to Linda, his personal assistant, and they've decided to put the matter on hold until next year. So as far as I'm aware, there's no more talk of it this year. So we kind of decided to put a hold on
Could
it.
I just mention something? Before you have any further contact with them, they're gonna have to come to the township and submit that, because we don't have that. And we have some ordinances as to landlocked property and how many houses, so
Right,
it might be a moot point to begin with.
right. So it was just basically what they wanted to do was find out. You know, they were doing their footwork, and they realized that we owned the property, or the DNR owned the property. So they were just basically looking into what would need to be done if they decided to pursue it any further. So they've kind of stopped.
And the reason I bring this up is because they tried to do that where they wanted to put a trailer park in across the Pollyant Trail in Leonard, and it's not open for multiple homes, only for one residence. So that's why, if you would just direct them to the township first
Absolutely.
before we get ourselves in trouble by talking to them here.
Well, I did express to Linda the fact that the council, it won't come before our council until the DNR has reviewed it and given a determination. So we're not
Yeah.
gonna shoot ourselves in the foot by saying anything about it, either them or us. And
Yeah,
so-
well, I mean, and the reason they need to come to the township only because we do have an ordinance that says that one road going back to a subdivision, there's an awful lot that goes into that. And before they even start trying to figure out a crossing, they need to come talk to us first.
Okay. I'll send an email to their personal assistant, Linda, and actually just explain that, make sure that you talk to the township. That's most important.
They need to come to us I hate to have them go to the DNR and say, and the DNR says, yeah, you can do it, and then all of a sudden we have a lawsuit on our hands because we tell them we have a different ordinance, that's all.
Good idea.
Okay.
Completely takes that out of your hands.
Correct.
It's a lot easier.
And, it's just, we're just doing due diligence. So I just wanted to make you guys aware of what has happened. So, let's see. Pretty much, overall, the trails is in really good shape. We've been doing a lot of work on it. We've got the map signs up. We did get a complaint by a homeowner about our trail maintenance. The complaint was addressed by a DNR representative on Monday. She did walk the area that was in question, and she found that we were 100% in compliance, that there was no over-grooming, no ill intent on the behalf of the Pollyant Trail Management Council, that we actually are doing less maintenance than we could. So, complaint was basically mute, so we're kind of letting you guys know. So I don't know, Mike was with me during the time, so it just, she looked at it, complaint was unfounded. Just let you guys know there wasn't. So, that's it.
Okay.
And that's one little quick thing. At Leonard, during the Strawberry Festival, we had a little pocket mini library put in. Brian, who actually built the library and installed it at the Strawberry Festival, before we did the final installation, we did the foundation and the support beams on it. There was a metal pipe there with like a slit where people would put money in, kind of a deal, many years ago. He took the pipe out, and in the pipe, he found all of this.
It's money. It's money.
It's money. It's like rat chewed up, probably been in this pipe for like
Oh, really?
Yeah,
a decade.
there's a Confederate dollar in there.
I think there's some silver. But anyway, there's $10 bills, $5 bills, change, and so I just wanted to show everybody, because I'll take it to the bank, and they'll give us new money for it, but it was just kind of a, he wins,
Yeah.
kind of
right.
deal. So, there you go.
There may be more money than there is.
Yeah, so it was just kind of funny, because who knows how long that money's been there? I mean, some of that stuff is probably
Check the dates.
a long
Okay.
time. That's it.
All set, thank you, Linda. Okay. Any questions for Linda on the report from the council? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to new business then. First item under new business is the 2018 Pollyant Trail budget amendments. You should have found near the end of your packet the recommended budget amendments courtesy of Joe Ferrari. So it also includes the newly adopted budget, and there's also another page in your packet that has a separate breakout of that same information. So, but we're looking for a motion to amend the 2018 budget in the amounts, to the amounts indicated on the amendment page. I should say pages.
Couple of questions
Yes,
first.
Curtis.
Are we doing this by the fund itself, revenue and expense? Just as far as just a one motion?
Yeah, we basically adopted by fund, not by line
Okay.
item. So I think we would be fine doing that.
Okay, well, one item just to point out on the revenue, donations, sales, and reimbursements, we spent 5257 to date, but we're amending it to 5200, so that number needs to be adjusted up. I'd recommend that you make that 5300 unless we're getting more donations, and just reduce your fund balance.
Okay?
My other question is, under contracted services, which is Linda and somebody else maybe, we've expended 16,890. And is that just through September? Because we just approved your September invoice, Linda, for the October bill run, so we would have 3 more from you?
Well, Joe made a note at the top, the calculations as of 12/31/2018. So my presumption is that it should be covered under the current amount, the 21,000.
There would be one more invoice for November, and then one more invoice for December.
2 more, so, because in our bill run, we approved December of 17 and January, so does that count as far as 2018 expenses?
I would think it would, yes.
Okay, so we'll be all right then.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's see,
Joe in today? Because I asked him.
he's not.
Because I asked him the same
Did you?
question. There's like 4 of them that, why did the numbers go down instead
Oh, good.
of up at the end of the year? Because these numbers, the 2000 the November numbers are higher than the December numbers. It didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, that's one that stood out to me. Then on the 19 adopted budget, for contracted services, that 13,000 should be 23,000. And then the maintenance of grounds should be 12,000. Or different numbers should be put in there because,
No, that's what, those were the amendments that were made.
the wind will be at a $24 an hour rate in 19.
Right.
I don't have a calculator with me, but $24 times
Oh,
80
okay,
hours
then.
a month times 12.
Is it that way on this one too?
Seemed to me we adjusted that last month down on our,
See now, on the one that you adopted, which was the very last page of your packet, on this.
The 59,000?
document looks like this. It should, this one should be correct. Contracted services, Pollyant Trail Manager, 23,000. Insurance, 3, maintenance of grounds, 12,000, equipment and hardware, 7,000.
Right.
So, I don't know where Joe got his figures for his column for the 2019 budget, but I didn't even look at them, quite honestly, because I was more concerned about the actually amended amounts, so.
I mean, the amounts balance out, they're just in different categories.
Exactly. Okay, so are we know that we have to change donations and sales reimbursements, and we're gonna go to 2,300 there, or, not 2,300,
52.
to 5,300 there. So that's $43. And how are we, 1507, that's all right, that's 21, that's all right. So are we looking at any others that, Donnie, did you?
Well, my question was the contracted services went down from 21 to 16,890, that you said that one, right?
Yeah, we're okay on that.
Yeah, this is year-to-date,
Yeah,
Okay.
just ignore that last column.
because we're good, because we're budgeting for
And then
21,000.
why did we take out Leonard's use of facilities?
Take it out?
Yeah, it was taken out of the activity through 2000. I don't know. I don't care.
No, I mean,
This is right here, she's saying, it's not here, it's not there.
oh,
It's so close.
well, there's no change. Yeah, that should have been a 0 or whatever.
You're at
It's
least-
obviously,
Well, with the amended budget, you're balancing it out, 1845
Right.
in and 1845 out.
right.
Oh, I see, okay.
But you would think there should have been a 0 there. So, okay.
I'll move to approve the 2018 amended Pollyant Trailways budget with revenues and expenses balancing at $66,465.
Okay.
Second.
See, you're going with this one, you're going with that one.
Are there any questions on the amendment motion?
That should be through 10/31. I'm ready to go out.
So why is he have this date? But you
Now,
think
at
it
what
should-
point are we gonna
supposed to
look
be
at
October.
the fee increases, like what we discussed about next time?
You mean for the
Contributions.
membership contributions?
Yeah.
Well,
Look at it in 2019.
yeah, generally, that's when we would do it. Actually, we talked about it this time around, and then
We did it last year.
Didn't take it, yeah, we did it a year ago. And I thought that we didn't have to do it, but it was out there in case we needed to. So,
But when we, I'm sorry,
Go
Mike,
ahead,
so
go
when
ahead.
we agreed to this budget, though, we're agreeing to these numbers of what we're gonna capture, so you wouldn't bump them up after the fact.
No, no.
Right? You're
No, it's-
talking for 2020.
For 2000, yeah, for 2019,
This is-
we've set our budget.
And
And we
we s-
would not ask for a
Okay.
different amount from the participating
Okay,
communities.
that's, okay, and then,
And then next year, in 19, we would have to go back and revisit whether increased request would be prudent, you know. Go ahead, Donnie.
And I asked Joe if we could, on our next budget, just bring it out one more year, like have like a 3-year budget, and then that way when we have like capital projects that Linda has like slated, you know, well, next year, let's do this, let's do that, then we can like plan for, it'll help us plan better, so I'm assuming he would do that, I don't know.
He hasn't talked to me, but I will ask him about it.
And I emailed, I'm sure he would, but I just think it's better to kind of keep us all on track.
There's some projects like Clarkson Road where we were given a donation. There's still money that I have not spent that was given by the donor. There's a couple of $1,000s that are still, I had not spent because we were kind of waiting on the gazebo, what we were going to do with the parking lot. So that money is still kind of in limbo.
Okay, are there any other questions on the motion, Elgin?
What was the amended amount?
Well, the final total will be $66,465 for income and for expenditure.
We had a motion and a second, didn't we?
We did.
Yes. Could we have a roll call then when you're ready?
Mike McDonald,
Yes.
Curtis Wright,
Yes.
Elgin Nichols, yes. Bruce Pearson,
Yes.
Aaron Watley,
Yes.
Donnie Steele,
Yes.
Sue Bassardet, absent, Eric Sant,
Yes.
carries.
Okay, thank you. Okay, council received a proposed meeting schedule for 2019. It should have been on 8B. Are there any, you'll note that there is a February meeting, and I didn't talk to the supervisor at Addison, but I put it at Addison Township. If that's not possible, we can have it at Rowan Hall.
What is a 20th, holiday?
I don't know, is it
Or the President's Day in there somewhere?
on a Wednesday?
Is that a holiday?
Oh, is it? Oh, that's a Wednesday, oh, okay, it was Monday, no. So why were you thinking that we couldn't have it there?
You could. I just didn't know. I hadn't asked you.
Oh, sure.
That's we have not met in February in the past,
18th.
so,
18. So it's a Monday.
so February 20th is Wednesday. So
We used to take some of the winter off, didn't we?
Yeah,
Was
well,
that-
yeah,
that was
February,
it.
but we were kind of overwhelmed this year, every month with so many matters to consider that,
Well, you certainly can have it at Addison Township, or you can have it down at my place at Naples, it's up to you.
hey, if you're not there, you'll be missed, but you'll understand.
You mean I have a quorum?
Okay, but the doors will be open at Addison Township, and
Okay, so can we
I'll
have
send you
a
pictures.
motion to adopt the 2019 meeting schedule and location?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Eric. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Mr. Wright? Any questions on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the adoption of the 2019 meeting schedule and location as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. Linda, we have no events, correct?
No events.
Okay, moving on then to American Land Title Association survey. Briefly, Linda.
Okay, real quick. I've been working on the 5-year plan, and some things have come to light. And Kristen Wolfang of Oakland County mentioned that Pay Creek had one of these surveys done. It's an in-depth survey of the entire length of the trail. They are very expensive, but they are very thorough. My thought is if we could find a private funding source that would not cost us any money, that
That's a nice sledding
possibly we
hill.
might want to look into getting one of these done.
Gotta walk back up.
I have
You need to get a
contacted
chairlift
Houston
for that.
Kennedy to give us an estimate on how much it will cost. He's working on a cost breakdown. Before I go asking for money from somebody, I want to make sure it's something we really want, something we can afford. We can also look at possibly getting a standard survey done. It's not as in-depth. These particular surveys, they survey understructures, culverts, everything.
Yeah.
So it's a really good tool for encroachment problems. So I don't have any numbers yet. I'm working on it. It's an idea I'm kicking around that I think would be very beneficial to us.
So you're not asking us for any action at this
Nope,
time?
I'm just telling you what I'm up to.
Okay, is there, I guess for the purposes of information, is there anybody that has an objection or would not want to pursue this further? Because we won't have Linda spend time on it if, she hasn't really spent a lot of time on it yet. She's tried to get some pricing in that, but we. Donnie?
I do know the Paint Creek did it, so I don't know if you might want to talk to them.
Yeah, I actually talked to Kristen about it, and
Okay.
she thinks that having an actual survey of this magnitude is very beneficial for encroachment cases, you know, unauthorized use of the trail. It's just, it protects us as much as everybody else.
I meant cost-wise.
Oh,
too.
cost-wise, yeah. It was expensive, I know. Ours is twice as long, so it's gonna be shocking.
Okay, well, barring any motion or any objections to it, in the future, Linda, when you have information and you think you're ready to make a presentation, we'll just leave this on your, as trail manager responsibility, and then I won't put it on the agenda for follow-up until such time as there's more information. Okay? Is there any objection to that from the council? If none, we'll move on then to the Clarkson Connector ribbon cutting ceremony. I think you kind of updated us on that. And how are we money-wise and all that? Are we okay?
Oh, we're doing just great.
Okay. That will-
The ribbon cutting was great. Donnie donated donuts, and I donated cider, and it was a really nice time. Everybody was out there, and, you know, it's nice to see everybody out there, you know. And Oakland County came out in force, which really made me happy.
The sheriff helped out a lot.
Okay. Normally in the December would be the last month for the officers that are currently serving the Trail Council. But since we don't have a December meeting, they would take office in January. So what is the council's pleasure on this?
I think we should just vote that we like everybody we have, and yes, okay, and we'll move on now.
I did mention last year
Last year.
that I would really.
That was last year, Mike.
I know.
We don't want to hear about
I
old
know.
news. We want to talk about how
Aren't you-
what you're going to do
aren't
as
you
a
tired
new
of-
president of,
If you're tired of long meetings and mistakes on the agenda, then I'm not your man.
we can overlook all that, Mike, don't worry.
Not a problem, Mike, not a problem.
I just want to make a statement, that whoever is chairperson gets me.
How do you feel about it, Mike?
I would really appreciate it if somebody would volunteer and step up and give it a try. It's a very rewarding experience. It is a little intensive working with Linda and, you know, the volume of work. The job was a lot easier before Linda. So, and that's not a bad thing, Linda. It's just, you've got a lot going on. It takes a lot to manage it.
There's no breaks.
But,
I would say, trying to get Mike off the hook here, that I would like to nominate Curtis Wright.
you gotta work with him, Elgin.
I know,
I'm happy as long as it skipped over.
You're a supervisor.
No, I've already been this route.
Is there a second for the nomination?
I'll make it stop.
Pastor second.
Well,
Sorry, Kurt.
Does the candidate have a choice?
I know, it's
I got a vote, I got one vote.
Usually we vote the guy who's missing out of the meeting.
That would be the village.
That's why everybody showed up today.
Okay. All in favor of the nomination? Are there any other nominations?
Are you
Hearing
willing,
none.
wait, aren't you, don't you have to say I'm willing to accept or not? Or-
I don't know, I've not,
I'm not giving them that opportunity.
Sorry, let me shake his head here.
that's not how I
I'm
do
a
your
public
secretary.
here.
We did that to Mike for 2 years in a row. We'll just have to pass it.
Okay, so if there are no further nominations, nominations are closed. All those in favor of the appointment of Mr. Curtis Wright as the chairperson for the Pollyant Trailway Management Council for 2019. Please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no.
No,
Curtis, you can do it.
You're
I'll
outvoted.
do it.
I will.
Thank you.
I'm voting.
Thank you.
You just have to put up with me.
Well, Chris,
You know where I live, don't you,
Thank
Linda?
you.
I do.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate, I do want to say before we move on to the other nominations, I appreciate the support that you have shown me and the trail, working with me and putting up with
You do a great job.
what it is we do. Okay,
Well, I'm glad now you have more time to help me fix up that outhouse.
I will.
The sounding board.
Okay, for the position of
okay.
vice chairperson, are there any
Who
nominations?
wants to be vice chair now?
No, because a vice chair, you end up going to the chair. Who's vice chair?
I am right now. So, case in point.
Is there
Screw that
nominations?
up.
Yep.
Case in point.
I think Elton. Vice chair.
I like
Do you like-
Elgin, because he makes every meeting, you know. He-
Well,
vice
he
chair.
also does the minutes.
Oh,
Then you're getting secretary.
I would be willing to be vice chair, if council,
Or were we,
unless Eric wants. to.
Eric, start bringing these guys up forward, you know, come on.
Everybody take a step forward.
Hey, Donnie.
Elgin,
road pulls
you
both
wanna
ways.
do
But I'm the treasurer.
Oh,
I could do it, I guess.
I nominate Mike McDonald as the vice chair.
Second.
That way he can advise Mr.
That's
Curtis.
perfect.
Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, all those in favor of Mike McDonald as being the vice chairperson for the Pollyant Trailway Management Council for 2019, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. Nominations for the treasurer for the Pollyant Trail for 2019?
I'll nominate myself.
I'll nominate Donnie.
She does a fine job. I want to compliment her on that.
I have Joe, I ask questions to Joe, Joe does all the booking. I'll do it, as provided Joe stays where he's at.
Well, I don't expect that to change either.
That won't be changing. I'll second that motion.
Okay. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, all in favor of Mrs. Donnie Steele remaining and continuing as the 2019 treasurer for the Pollyant Trailway Management Council, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. Finally, as far as officers go, the position of secretary, are there any nominations for the position of secretary for the trail for 2019?
I nominate Elgin. He's done such a fine job.
Yes, I second
I have
that.
to compliment him all the time about this.
I appreciate you doing it. That's the hard,
It's
that's
a
a hard
tough
one.
It's the hardest job. Yeah, but I'll second that.
Okay. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none. All those in favor of the nomination of Donnie Steele to,
Elgin.
I'm sorry,
Yeah, that's a
Elgin, sorry, Donnie.
stacker.
Elgin Nichols as the secretary for the Pollyant Trailway Management Council for 2019, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. Do you really want us to put that down, Councilman?
No, put me on.
All right, thank you, everybody. Moving on to unfinished business, Tanview, Linda, where are we? We're done?
with the Tanview, we could not arrange commercial contractor to come out and take care of it. The last day I had Wham out, we removed the fence, we removed the brush, we disposed of everything, we completely got it taken care of. It looks great, didn't cost us a dime. So,
Good job.
yeah.
Great job.
I still have a bruise on my head from the post.
Okay, moving on to Wood Trail and the Road Commission, et cetera.
Right. Wood Trail, I'm in weekly conversation with the project manager Heidi. 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Still, it's always 2 weeks.
2 weeks. I have informed her that the DNR is wanting to get this taken care of, which they are, we are, and that the road commission is pressing us for payment. And I informed Heidi that we will not be paying anybody, and I've also informed the road commission we will not be paying anybody until the repairs are done to our satisfaction. So the road commission is putting pressure on Infotera. Infotera is 2 weeks. So that's kind of where we're at right now. It's not impeding travel on the trail. It is going to be a problem in the spring, though. I mean, it's going to start to erode. It's going to start causing a washout over there. We're going to have a problem if it goes too much more into the spring. So we're working on it.
Okay. 5-year recreation plan update.
Okay, 5-year recreation plan. I thought it was going to be a pretty easy thing. We get the maps done, we do a few updates, everything's fabulous. I've been meeting with Kristen Wilfang. She notified me that there has been a change in the requirements for the 5-year plan. There's a 3-page document that must accompany a 5-year plan update for each trust fund grant that we have received. According to Kristen and myself, we believe that the Pollyant Trail have received 4. We have received no trust fund grants. We have received money from the trust fund through the Department of Forestry, which is kind of like the cousin. The money did come from the trust fund, but through a different avenue. So we have not received any trust fund grants directly, which is fine. I mean, that just means I don't have to fill out a 3-page document for each of those grants. Problem is, because I brought it to the attention of the woman, Mary Carlock, who is the DNR Trust Fund Grant Coordinator, she looked at our 5-year plan to help us out and found out that our bylaws do not support ever getting a trust fund grant. We have to redo our intercommunity agreement and how we would disperse of material if we should ever dissolve. It's just a 3 or 4 sentence in our bylaws and in our 5-year plan structure that needs to be adjusted in order for us to have our 5-year plan approved by the DNR and accepted by the DNR so we can apply for trust fund grants. We can apply for TAP grants, passport grants, without a 5-year plan, but there are other grants out there that we need a 5-year plan on board to apply for. So we really need a 5-year plan. I talked to Mary Carlock, I've talked to Kristen Wilfang, and I've talked to Chris Bennett. The best avenue we can do is do some research. Paint Creek Trail just redid their intercommunity agreement. We can take that, modify it to our needs. There's another trail that just was approved by the DNR. We can also use that verbiage to try to update our bylaws. Each community can approve it, then the DNR can approve it, and once the DNR and the communities have approved it, we will have to send it to our lawyer to make sure that everything is legal. Once that's done, we can adopt it to our 5-year plan, and we can move forward with our 5-year plan. So
We would also have to amend our
we don't have to
intergovernmental
amend our
agreement.
bylaws.
But just so there's no confusion about that, this would be basically a technical change, not to the actual working agreement that we have currently. And so Linda's looking for authorization, and as Linda indicated, a 5-year plan, you have to have one to get any money from the DNR. Doesn't matter if it's trust fund or whatever, they're not gonna channel us money unless there's a plan in place. So if we don't change it, we'll be at the mercy of the DNR. If they wanna give us some money, they could pass some money on to us. If we gain the status of amending the intergovernmental agreement, then we can apply for trust fund monies on our own and hopefully qualify for those projects in the future and not have to see if the DNR has some extra money or wants to get something done. So,
I'd like to make a motion that we update that 5-year recreational plan to include that. I think that all of our communities, we have it with NODA, we have all these other interlocal agreements, and this should be updated to that same status.
And part of that too is, once we get this done, because we have not received a direct trust fund grant, that makes us look better. I mean, we've never asked them for money, so when we do ask them for money, we're more likely to
Right.
get it.
Yep.
yeah, they use a point system. Donnie?
And there's a pile of money too. It's the only spot where this, all the money is in this trust fund. But I think, isn't it, don't you have to do the interlocal first?
Right.
Then you have the attorneys look at it, then they approve it, and then the communities approve it. Then you change the master plan, and then you give it to the state. I'm just concerned about the order in which you go to where, so
And
we
that's,
don't go all
that's
over
what I
the
have to
place.
look at. I just found out Monday that we had to change it.
And the Paint Creek did not change their interlocal.
Okay.
But they could copy off the interlocal
Right.
because we go after our own grants through the Paint Creek, so.
And there's another trail that was just completed and just adopt council, much like the Pollyant Trail, north of here. The name escapes me.
Me too.
Yeah, it's like iron something. They just had theirs approved by the DNR, so we can also use the verbiage on that. But we just need to move forward because we can't get the 5-year plan done until we
Right.
get this done, and then, I'm working on it.
Okay. Okay, well, we have, I'm sorry, Kevin.
Just had a question.
Yeah.
The fact that the Pollyant Trail incorporates part of the Iron Bell, does that require the 5-year plan? Just
I'm not clear as far as the Iron Bell. I know that the DNR in any form requires a 5-year plan on file. So the Iron Bell being part of the DNR, I would assume that would be, we would have to have one on file.
reasons that-
Yeah, it would be reasonable. So, we,
Okay, and incumbent on this, though, and maybe not at this time, is the understanding by the council that it will cost us some money when we get to the point where we have to either have the attorney consulted or whatever, so I don't want there to be any surprises if Linda proceeds in that direction, so. Okay, so we have a motion from Mr. Pearson, is there a second? Aaron, I'm sorry.
This is not something we should go slow with, just because we have a deadline of February 18th.
I know.
And with all the holidays coming up, different municipality board meetings and village board meetings, all these things need to happen fast to get all this
February
signed in motion.
18th.
For what's the February 18th?
That is the
That's the
submittal
deadline for the,
state.
for the,
So if you can get that done by Friday, it'd be just fine,
the
okay?
trust fund grants.
I've been working on this
They
thing for
won't, they won't consider us
Yeah,
for
work
a
tomorrow.
2019
Yeah, will you?
trust fund grant unless our master plan is approved by February,
Right.
whatever it was.
Yeah, you can submit it whenever it is.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're not planning to go.
Yeah,
forward.
if you, so if we're gonna,
We need-
if
we
we
need to
need to
have
get a
a
grant, if we're gonna
tight
try to get a
schedule.
grant, which
We need to
we
do
haven't
this
heard anything
first
about,
No.
but if,
I mean,
so, but I agree, I would like to move expeditiously either way.
Yeah.
We might.
In our
Okay.
February,
problem,
that means every
with
board has
me,
to approve it
I'm
in
working on
February.
it, but every time I
You
get
meet
to a
what, the first
point, I
Monday of
find
the
out
month?
there's another corner I have to go around. And I was
Yeah,
unaware
so your
about
January
the
meeting's
trust
out.
fund, then I find out about the trust fund, and then, so every
Which was
10
not-
pages.
Going once.
Right. Okay, so we have a motion then to authorize updating the recreation plan and the IGA as described. Is there a second?
1 second.
Mr. Nichols?
Okay, so it's master plan.
Are there any questions on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion to update the master plan in accordance with the requirements of the DNR and the trust fund grant process, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no.
And the interlocal, right? We should
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
clear that,
yeah,
the master
thank
plan
you.
and interlocal.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, that passed. Is there any old business? Hearing none, is there any public
The
comment?
agenda.
Hearing none, board member comments? We'll start at Aaron's end. Aaron,
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
same to you. Connie?
Ditto, and I'll help with that.
Yeah, I'm gonna need some help because it's just mind-boggling.
Well, and my offer still stands to help as well.
Well, now that you're not chairman anymore.
Okay,
He's
Curtis,
vice.
Curtis,
Yeah, I'll volunteer to help. You got my back.
okay, Curtis, or anything? Or were you done, Donnie? Okay, Curtis?
Yeah, just a happy Thanksgiving to everybody, and get ready for 2019.
Thank you. Bruce?
No, my tickets are looking better and better though for Florida. I'm hoping we get a lot of snow.
There is that.
Okay, but happy Thanksgiving.
Well, I just want to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody, and again, thank you for the support that you gave me as chairperson. I really appreciate it. Elgin?
Yeah, I'd like to say thank you to Mike McDonald, who's done a great job. And not only last year, but the previous year, and I understand for the last 100 years. So, anyway, I'm glad you could get somewhat of a reprieve now, and congratulations to all those people that have to pick up the gauntlet.
Okay. Eric?
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving, and thanks for the good job, Mike. Like I always say, better you than me.
You're next.
Kevin?
Same thing,
All right.
Thanksgiving, and you're the best chairperson I've been on this board.
Been the only one. But thank you. I'm not making
We send the same sentiment down here too, Mike.
Okay.
Yeah, we want to redo. We want to thank Mike for all his
No,
time,
that's-
yes, and your effort.
Not necessary, but thank you.
Thank you very much, Mike, and sorry, Curtis.
Oh,
Still
no,
got me for.
we're gonna build on this.
Oh, no, I'm just,
We're
I'm
building
a
on
push
this.
and a half.
Well, we're gonna leave Curtis in good shape, right, Linda?
I'm only
by the
going
end
to
of the year.
abuse him when necessary.
Okay. If there's no further comments, motion to adjourn would be in order.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Any questions on the motion? Hearing none. All in favor of adjournment at 4 o'clock, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say no. Thank you, everybody. Have a great Christmas season, too, the holiday season.
Oh, yeah.